Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. The month is pretty much over today, and we're gearing up now for October and again to get into the NBA season, right? But given the fact that the NBA season is starting, doesn't mean the sports aren't going on, right? The NFL has been on for a few weeks now. And as you guys know, the biggest sporting event in the United States, at the very least, is the Super Bowl. All right? It's the one, man. It's the one where movie companies spend millions and millions of dollars promoting movies. Some companies that promote games, they do it. I mean, it's just a place where if you want to run an ad during the Super Bowl, you do it. And the reason has to do with the viewership. Let me see. Super Bowl. I mean, if we look at the Super Bowl viewership last time, let me see viewership. It was insane. I think they had 127 million viewers tune in, which is the most watched game and halftime show in history. 120 million, 27 million. So that lets you know that it's a pretty big deal. And in the past, we've had some pretty big names perform on the Super Bowl, like Justin Timberlake, Jennifer Lopez and Shakira. We had Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre, of course. We had last year Kendrick Lamar. So it's a place where very big Maroon 5 as well also performed on the Super Bowl just over the last 10 years, giving you some names, right? So this year, I guess some people were anticipating who was going to be the one to do the halftime show. And then the news broke over the last 24 to 48 hours that it was going to be Bad Bunny. And this one brought a lot of controversy with it, right? I want to read a quick headline here from an article called heraldseries.co.uk. It says, Bad Bunny, I want to show off Puerto Rican culture at Super Bowl show. It says Bad Bunny has said he wants to show off his Puerto Rican culture when he takes to the stage for the Super Bowl halftime show. He said the singer, who's 31, is one of the most popular musical artists around the world and has topped Spotify's most streamed artists list 3 times in the last 5 years. He was unveiled as the halftime show performer on Monday and said he was glad he no longer had to keep the secret. And he basically said, I'm always doing everything with purpose. And of course, everywhere I go, I always represent and I always put my country, my music. I really am figuring out what I'm going to do for this show, but it's going to be good. It says the musician revealed he was in the middle of a workout at the gym when Jay-Z called to offer him the show. Jay-Z, who owns music label Roc Nation, is heavily involved in the selection process for the Super Bowl halftime show as the NFL's live music entertainment strategist. Bad Bunny said, it's crazy because I was in the middle of a workout. So I remember that I got a call. I just did like 100 pull-ups to the musician. And then it goes on to say how he was selected and all of that. Well, this announcement of Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl, this upcoming Super Bowl, has created a firestorm out there because there's some people that are very excited for him to perform and there are others that are very, very angry, especially some people in conservative circles. So how does Stephen A. Smith tie into all of this? Well, as you guys know, Stephen A. Smith was a sports guy, but he's also talking politics. He's not the only one. There are a lot of guys that are in sports talking politics. Dan Le Batard does it. Stephen A. Smith does it. Jason Whitlock does it. A few other guys that I can't think of right now. All of these guys are kind of dabbling into politics and what's happening out there in the world. So Stephen A. Smith, who calls himself a centrist but speaks like a conservative, or certainly likes to portray himself as such, recently did a sit down on Good Morning America. And during this sit down, they were asking him about things happening in the political realm. And then they ultimately asked him about the decision by the NFL to select Bad Bunny to be the host to perform at the halftime show. And it seems like Stephen A. Smith must have missed his directions. Maybe some light shined in his eye. He didn't know what direction to grift in. But apparently he grifted back to the left and basically spoke about how he was excited for the NFL to be selecting Bad Bunny and how he thinks it was a genius move by the league. Take a listen to Stephen A. Smith here.
The New York Jets inexplicably can't get anything right. They've missed the playoffs the last 14 years. And so somebody's got to win a game tonight, and we'll see what happens with that one.
Right. Only have a little time left. What's your take on Bad Bunny?
I think it's a brilliant move by Jay-Z, who's obviously in charge of providing halftime entertainment for the Super Bowl. This guy's incredibly popular, #1 in streaming on Spotify over the last 3 years, a global iconic figure in the streaming stratosphere. This guy's the real deal, and obviously he has global appeal. In the times that we're living in, for Jay-Z to come up with this as the act for Super Bowl halftime performance, I think it's absolutely brilliant. And I think the world, considering the NFL is trying to attract itself to the world, games in Berlin, games in Brazil, games in France and England and London and what have you, they're trying to have global appeal because they already have America on lockdown. I think this is a strong, strong way to go. Brilliant move by Jay-Z.
So you heard what he had to say. He thinks it's a genius move, blah, 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 blah. Unbeknownst to him, a lot of people on the right are furious about the NFL making this decision. And I actually found out about this yesterday. I was reading through some posts on the internet. We actually put up a poll on our channel not too long ago, about an hour or so ago. It has about 463 votes. And the question was this: will you watch the Bad Bunny Super Bowl performance? Out of the roughly 500 people that have voted, 79% have said no, while 31% have said yes. And if I just read through some of the responses, one guy said, "No, I'm good. Let the weirdos watch him." Another guy said, absolutely not, not at all. Nope. All the male colored people are mad in the comments. Somebody said, "Who?" No disrespect to him, but his music just doesn't interest me. Congrats to Bad Bunny, though. A guy said an incredible no. I never heard that one before. Another guy said, "Hell nah, I'm not with the weird bleep." Somebody said, "Who the hell is Bad Bunny?" And it just kept on going on and on and on. So from the people that weighed in on our channel here, 8 out of every 10 people are basically saying no, they're not going to watch. And please, if you haven't made your vote, go there and cast your vote as well and let your voice be heard. And let me hear what you guys have to think. What are my thoughts about this? I want to address all the various sides of people that expressing their concerns and their views and their elation, etc. So there are a lot of people out there that are happy about it, right? The Hispanic community, they're happy about it. Maybe people that follow his music are happy about it. So you have these guys out there. You have certain groups that are also happy. But I think apparently to what they said, he's not straight. I don't know. I don't know much about him. But you have those groups as well that are celebrating it. You have more conservative groups that are like, no, we don't want to watch him, and this and this. I've heard some people, I read some comments rather on the internet with some people saying, are any of his songs going to be played in English? Or is he performing any of his songs in English? So some people feel like he doesn't represent things that are holy. It's not good for a young viewing audience. So everyone is kind of weighed in on the issue, right? What are my thoughts about this? First of all, there was a song of Bad Bunny that I didn't know, but I kept on hearing like the instrumental online, and it sounded like some kind of like South of France kind of music. So I ultimately like Shazammed it, and I found out it was him. Then I found the video and it was him. So when I watched the video, I think the song is called Monaco or something like that. To my surprise, the entire song was in Spanish. I didn't understand anything of what he was saying, although I understand Italian. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know that, but I liked the song because I could just kind of groove to it. Like most songs that we hear. Some songs we don't really know what people are saying, but we just kind of groove to it. I'm still even now Googling the lyrics of some songs that I used to listen to as a kid. I'm like, oh, that's what that guy said? So people usually just listen to music for the rhythm and all of that stuff, while some people are saying, does he speak English and this and this and this? What are my thoughts about this? Look, guys, personally, speaking from my personal standpoint, I never really care about these performances. For example, just to show you guys how I'm like in the minority here. For instance, last year, Kendrick Lamar performed at the Super Bowl. Matter of fact, we put up a poll in our audience, with our audience. We said, did you enjoy Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance last year? 656 people voted, whereas six out of every 10 people said yes. So 59% basically said yes. Last year, people were saying Kendrick Lamar's performance wasn't good. I liked it. Silly old me. I liked this performance, but a lot of people were saying they didn't like it. They thought it was boring, whatever. So that goes to show you how much my opinion matters when it comes to rating Super Bowl halftime performances. But in this instant, some people feel like, this is an attack on Christianity and all of this. Look, guys, if there is an attack on Christianity, it ain't going to be with Babs Bunny. If there was an attack, it happened a long time ago. Right? If you really want to get to the heart of it and you really want to get away from these people that have the satanic music and all that stuff, bro, you're going to have to get rid of a lot of people in your playlist because that industry is controlled by Satan. The movie industry as well. So it ain't just Bad Bunny. You're going to have, if we're going to be honest about it, there are a lot of artists. If you are part of that machine, you're part of it. Let me repeat. If you're a part of that machine, that you call yourself a musician, you call yourself a movie, you're part of it. You don't get to a point where we know you and you're not a part, you're a part of it. The movie industry, the music industry is all controlled by Satan. So Bad Bunny performing, don't look at it and say, well, this guy represents evil and all of this. So who told you the other ones that performed before him didn't? Just say you didn't know. Or just say you like their music, so you never paid attention or you were never worried about it. Like, let's not act like as if this is the first one. Now, for me personally, I don't care. I don't care. I also want to say this, however, before I forget this point. I also believe that this is a political statement. I believe it's a political statement, and I also believe the NFL is confused. This is what I wanted to say. This was the thought that occurred to me earlier today. One, I think this is a political statement. And number two, I believe that the NFL is confused. Let's get to the political statement aspect of this. I believe, given the fact that Bad Bunny has made it clear that he is canceling all of his touring dates in the United States, because according to him, if he were to do tours in the United States, he's afraid that ICE would show up at these concerts, venues or whatever, and start arresting people. Right. So that's the reason he refused to perform in the United States. So he's kind of protesting the United States government because this particular administration is pro deportation, and they're pretty much rounding up anyone that's Hispanic that they believe could be an illegal immigrant. So you have that. Now, how does it tie into politics? Well, this is the current state of affairs in the United States. So the NFL and Rock Nation going out there and going with Bad Bunny, who has made it clear that he doesn't support this administration. He doesn't support what's going on with these ICE deportations. It is a political statement. So therefore, you can also understand some people on the right saying, hey, this is you guys are saying. So there's that aspect of it. And I believe that the NFL, Rock Nation, and these guys are aware of that. It could be a way of maybe Jay-Z, I don't know, saying that, okay, you want to do we're going to put it in your face and put a Spanish artist up there, right? So you have, in this case, a Puerto Rican. So you have that aspect of it as well. Let's get to the part where I think the NFL is confused. The NFL doesn't know what it wants to do, it seems. When Colin Kaepernick took a knee, everybody was crying about, okay, he's disrespecting the flag and this 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 and this, right? In that instant, it made it seem like the NFL was against any kind of dissent against the flag. Cool. That precedent was set. Then various owners followed suit. But then something interesting happened. When Charlie Kirk died, you saw various NFL stadiums memorializing him, putting his picture on the big screen and all of that stuff. Some people are like, whoa, I thought you were against politics and all this, but now you're supporting Charlie Kirk. But then you get this situation here, which I would assume many people on the left would applaud the NFL for doing. So it now makes me question, well, does the NFL really have any political ties into political allegiances, or are they just pretty much going with the flow? Right? Because they were against Kaepernick kneeling. Then they promoted Charlie Kirk or recognized him. Let me just say that. And then you now have Bad Bunny. So the people that were supporting the NFL when they were recognizing Charlie Kirk are now saying, whoa, wait a minute. You guys are lost. So to me, I think the NFL is now sending mixed signals as well. Now, personally, I can't wait for the Super Bowl, the halftime show when it happens, because I get to just sit back and watch people lose their minds. I'm going to have my popcorn ready and watch people go at it over this issue and see people just say this and see people say that. That's just the way the political environment now in the States is it's like just one big clown show at this point. Everybody is upset over it's just one big clown show. So I'm going to be sitting back watching people lose their minds. In the case of Stephen A. Smith, who we titled this show after, well, this is him again. This is him again. I just think he probably didn't get the memo yet. He didn't get the memo that he wasn't supposed to take that opinion. But don't worry. Once this thing begins to pick up steam a little bit later in the year and it becomes an issue, oh, you better bet your bottom dollar Stephen A. Smith going to fall in line. He going to start saying, why would you do this and why would you do that? You know how he do. As you guys know, yesterday was media day, right? All the teams came back. We heard from Kawhi Leonard. He weighed in on this investigation that's currently taking place with the Clippers that we're not going to get any answers on from the NBA in terms of the conclusion of the investigation until after the All-Star break. The commissioner, these guys already made that clear. So we did a show about that. Some people were in awe and shocked and disgusted by that. And then we heard from LeBron James himself. He was talking about his plans for retirement, how he's not waiting for his son Bryce James to play, and all of that and all of this. So at the end of that interview, they went back to ESPN. And of course, they had, I think, Bobby Marks, Kendrick Perkins there. And Kendrick Perkins, if you know anything about Kendrick Perkins, he's always ready to jump out the window, right? He's always ready to jump out of the window. And last night was no exception. Kendrick Perkins, after listening to LeBron James speak, went out there and said he wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers get to the NBA Finals. For those of y'all who didn't hear what Kendrick Perkins had to say, I want to play it for you now, and then I'm going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Kendrick Perkins here, guys.
All right, well, we'll see what that all leads to this season. Let's welcome everyone in here. I'm George Sedano in for Malik Andrews. We'll hear from Malik a little later, alongside NBA champ Kendrick Perkins, Big Perk, and, of course, our NBA front office insider, Bobby Marks. Big Perk, I'll start with you. What do you make of what LeBron had to say today on Media Day?
Well, he said all the right things. The most important thing is that he's excited, he's motivated, and that means that Rob Pelinka and the Lakers front office did their job this offseason, right? If he's coming into training camp and he's happy and he's excited about this season, he's excited about the moves that they made. And I'm excited as well. I'm very high on the Los Angeles Lakers. I got them right up there with OKC and Houston, and I wouldn't be surprised if this team make it to the NBA Finals. They have a lot of young veteran guys. I love what Rui Hachimura brings to the game. Austin Reeves, we saw flashes of what he could be last year for us, the strides he took offensively. Luka in great shape. They got a point of attack defender and Marcus Smart on the perimeter. And DeAndre Ayton, I believe we're going to see the best version of him, something that we haven't seen in a long time. His mental is going to be there. So I'm high on this Los Angeles Lakers team, and if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, you feel good about what LeBron James is saying right now, because that means he's excited and motivated and he's pleased about what they did this offseason.
Bobby?
Excellent. So you heard what he had to say. So yesterday, we were doing the live, and Raw jumped into the live, and he told me something that I was absolutely unaware of, because I was going off on Kendrick Perkins. Because I think that this guy just does this for hot takes. He's a hot take artist, man. It's just hot take after hot take, whatever will stick, whatever will get people talking, no matter how ridiculous. That's what Bleacher Report did when they came out with their ridiculous top 10 list. It had nothing to do with sense, had everything to do with getting a reaction out of people, and they succeeded in doing this very thing. So Raw goes, Kendrick had already predicted the Lakers would win 70 games once. I said, what? He said, yeah, Kendrick Perkins had predicted the Lakers would win 70 games. I said, when did Kendrick Perkins predict that the Lakers would win 70 games? He goes, he predicted they would win 70 games the year they got Russell Westbrook. I said, that's impossible. So I immediately started to search to see whether or not this was true. Folks, would you believe that we found the video where they were talking about the over-under in terms of how many games teams will win going into the season? And would you believe at that time Kendrick Perkins picked the Los Angeles Lakers to win 70 games. For those of you who don't believe what I'm saying and think it's absolutely insane, I don't believe that Kendrick Perkins, he did say that. Take a listen again, Kendrick Perkins here.
But next, we have the Lakers here in Los Angeles, where I'm at, whose win total is listed at 51 and a half. 51 and a half on the Lakers.
All right, I really wanted to push this one because I'm gonna go over, but not by a lot.
Okay.
What? Look, this is another deadbolt lock. You cannot tell me that you're about to have LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, Carmelo Anthony, Rajon Rondo, Dwight Howard, Trevor Ariza, all of these players, and you're telling me that they're not going to have a 60-win season? Please. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they wouldn't scratch the surface of hitting a 70-win season.
Oh, Perk, now you're getting crazy. Come on.
Just look
Perk.
look at this lineup.
Perk.
Look at this lineup.
So you heard it there for yourself. This man in 2022 or there was in 22 or 21 picked the Lakers after they got Russell Westbrook to win 70 games. When all of us were out here saying, bro, this team is going to be bad. This dude jumped out the window again at the beginning of the season to say that the Lakers would win 70 games. Now, why does they do? I can almost guarantee you at one point or another, before the All-Star break, if the Lakers are not performing well, you can better believe that Kendrick Perkins will now come out here and say, Rob Pelinka and the Lakers didn't do enough for LeBron. How much you want to bet? It happens every single year. Every year. Maybe Kendrick Perkins forgot about the teams in the West. Let me remind him. The teams from the 2nd seed to the 8th seed last year was separated by 4 losses. Let me repeat that. The 2nd seed and the 8th seed was separated by 4 losses. The West is comprised of teams of the Thunder, the Rockets, the Clippers, the Nuggets, the Warriors, Dallas, and who Kyrie Irving is, they've cleared Kyrie Irving for training camp. You still have Memphis, and you got the Spurs over there with Victor Wembanyama. And Kendrick Perkins says, after the Lakers couldn't get past the Wolves in round 1, is confidently saying that he believes they can. Bro, you cannot take, and this is how they mislead Laker fans. What these guys do is they go out there and they overhype the Lakers. They put out unrealistic expectations. Then when the team doesn't live up to those expectations, they now get people fired and get people traded. When in reality, if they gave a sober take on the Lakers, people would be more tempered in their expectations. It's one of the reasons why Charles Barkley perennially calls out ESPN analysts, calls them a bunch of fools. Because they overhype, and it's not because they believe it. It's because, number one, they know it's going to get views, and number two, it's to play into the emotions of the fan base. I'm going to be supporting the Lakers this year because I know LeBron is gone. This is his final year. And I'm not going to be one of them commentators up here lying to you guys. The Lakers go on a 2-game winning streak. They're going to win the No. It don't work like that, baby. You're going to get some honest, sober analysis, not these dumbass Laker commentators that at the end of every game, if the Lakers win, James did well. And if they lose, it's JJ Redick or Luka Doncic. We're not one of those fools. We're going to keep it gully all the way to the end. But this is what you have. When you have a hot take, when you create an environment where only hot, ridiculous takes gain attention, this is what you get. Unreal. The guy said at one point they would win 70 games. You can't make this stuff up. We're not that good. Unbelievable.